Yes, good morning, children. We finished the 5 lessons and the questions for SA1. Children, the exams are conducting from next week, that is the 27th on Monday. So the portions for the social, the portions for the subject social are the first lesson, continents and motions. So the first lesson, the second lesson, latitudes and longitudes. Third lesson, movement of the earth. Fourth lesson, temperature zones. Lesson, I put on your forest, which so these are the questions for SA1 which you will be preparing for your exams. So the lessons are the first lesson, continents and oceans. Second lesson is latitudes and longitudes. The third lesson is movements of the earth. Fourth lesson, temperature zones of the world. And the last chapter, the fifth chapter, equatorial forest region. So those are the 5 lessons which you will be preparing for your SA1 exam. So in first round test, I just gave you a revision of the first lesson and the second lesson, that is the continents and oceans and latitudes and longitudes. Today we are just going to do the revision of 3 lessons. Before going to that, I'll just say you the pattern of question paper. How will be the question paper pattern? Question paper pattern. So, in question paper pattern, the first main will be the fill in the blanks. The first main will be the choose the correct answer. Choose the correct answer. Fill in the blanks. Next the following. Expand the following. Expand the following is nothing but you have to write the full form of the given letters. Example, GMT or else PM. What is the full form of PM? PM is nothing but it is a prime meridian. So that mean I have given as expand the following. Guess the clues and answer. So the clues will be given. You have to guess and write the answer. Next is true or false. Seventh one is name the following. Name the following, and the 8th main will be answer in one word or sentence. So you will be answering the questions in one word or in one sentence. The ninth lane will be, answer the following in 2 or 3 sentences. The answers will be little bigger than the 8th lane. The last lane will be the diagram. So I've given you the many diagrams. Draw a globe showing latitudes, longitudes, equator, North Pole and South Pole. That is the first diagram in the first lesson. And in the second lesson, it's in the second lesson which you wanted to show the equator, latitudes, longitudes, North Pole and South Pole. And in third lesson, you have to draw the diagram showing the seasons, how it is caused, equinox and solstice. That is in the third lesson. And in the fourth lesson, you are just going to mark the 3 zones on the globe. That is the torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. So these are the diagrams which you have to practice and you have to prepare for the exam. So in this 3 diagrams, I can give you any one of the diagrams. So practice all the 3 diagrams. So this is the question pattern which will be given in your SA1 exam. So today I'm just going to give you a revision of lesson number 3, movements of the earth. So the first question, answer the following. The first question is, what are the 2 movements of the earth? Explain. So you all know that the 2 movements of the earth are what? The 2 types of movements. What are the 2 types of movement? That is rotation and revolution. So these are the 2 types of movement of earth. So they have asked you the other question. Explain. So now you are going to write the 2 types of movements and you are just going to explain in brief of 2 types of earth's movement. See, the meaning of rotation is the spinning movement of the earth around its own axis is called rotation. So it is nothing but it is a spinning movement. It is just the spinning. So the earth which is spinning on its own orbit or on its own axis is called as rotation. So the earth is rotating on its own axis or orbit. So hence this is called as rotation. The spinning is called as rotation. And how much time does it take? How much time does it take to complete one rotation? It just takes 24 hours causing day and night. So it is known as rotation. And the second movement which I told you was revolution. Revolution. The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path is called revolution. It takes 365 days to complete revolution around the sun. So what happens here? The movement of the earth around its own path is called as orbit. So here the earth is moving on its own orbit around the sun or in a fixed orbit or fixed path. So this is called as revolution. And the time taken to complete one revolution is around the sun is 365 days. So this many days are taking to complete one revolution. I'll just read out once. Just listen. What are the two movements of the earth? Explain. The two movements of the earth are rotation, revolution. The spinning movement of the earth around its own axis is called rotation. The earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation, causing day and night. So this is about the rotation which I learned, studied. Ready. The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path is called revolution. It takes 365.14 days to complete revolution around the sun. This is about the revolution. Second one. Which are the main four seasons on earth? The four main seasons on earth are summer, winter, spring and autumn. So these are the four seasons which can be found on earth. Third question. What is an equinox? What do you mean by equinox, children? I have just taught you in the class while teaching a lesson or while explaining a lesson during the class. So, what do you mean by equinox? So, here equi means equal. Equi means equal. And nox means night. So they have asked you, what is the question they have asked you? What do you mean by equinox? So here equi means equal and nox means night. Equinox is the time when we have night and day of equal length. It occurs twice a year. So what happens? Now we just came to know that equi means equal and nox means night. So here equinox is the time where day and night will be equal length. So whereas equinox is the time where day and night will be of equal length, and this occurs once in, it occurs twice a year. Twice a year means it is just going to occur 2 times in a year. So I will learn once. What is an equinox? Equi means equal and nox means night. Equinox is the time when we have night and day of equal lengths. It occurs twice a year. So now you just came to know what do you mean by equinox. Next one. What is a solstice? What do you mean by solstice? So here I just read once. Solstice means the standing still of the sun when the tilt of the earth axis is most inclined towards or away from the sun. So here the solstice meaning is nothing but it is the standing still of the moon. What do you mean by solstice? Solstice means the standing still of sun, whereas the sun can be tilted. Where the earth axis can be tilted, most inclined. Most inclined means it can be near the sun or away from the sun. So that is called as solstice. Next, fifth question. What causes seasons? Why are they important? The Earth's revolution and the tilt of the Earth axis cause seasons on the Earth. So I told you children, here the seasons are caused due to the revolution of the Earth. So when the sun is near to the Earth, when half of the earth is facing towards the sun, what happens? It will be summer. When the sun is away from the earth, what happens? It causes winter. So this is how the seasons are caused. Seasons are important because they influence the food we eat, clothes we wear, and the crops we grow. So you all know that it depends on the seasons. According to that seasons, we just wear a different type of clothes. Example, like during summer season, we just wear cotton clothes. And whereas in winter season, we just wear the woolen clothes. And even the food also differs. In summer, you just drink cool drinks, ice cream, to keep yourself cool. Whereas in winter season, you all have the hot foods. Example like coffee, soups, etc. You will be just having. So from this, you can just come to know that the different, it just influences the food we eat, and even the clothes which we wear, and even the food crops which grow according to its seasons. So that is why here the seasons are very important. So the next chapter. So this is the third chapter which I gave you the revision. The next one is the fourth chapter, that is the temperature zones of the world. So I am going to teach you the answer the following questions. What factors affect the climate of a place? So I taught you in this lesson, in the starting, how does the climate affect and what are the factors which are affecting climate. So what they are? They are latitude or distance of a place from the equator. So this is the first factor which affects the climate. And the second one is altitude. So the second one is altitude. That is the height above from the sea level. The third one, distance from the sea. The fourth one will be the humidity. And the last one will be the winds. So altitude is nothing but the height above the sea level. Distance from the sea. Distance from the sea means near the sea. It can be either cooler during night times and hotter in the daytime. Humidity. Humidity is nothing but the humidity near the beaches will be more. And here the people who are living near the seas will be sweating profusely. And winds. It just depends upon the direction of winds which affect the climate. Either it can be on the ground, sea or oceans. So this is the first question and answer. I just read once, listen. What factors affect the climate of a place? The factors that affect the climate of a place are latitude or distance of a place from the equator. Second is altitude. Third one is distance from the sea. The fourth one is humidity. Fifth one is winds. So this is the first answer. The next one is describe the torrid zone. So in this lesson we just learned about the three zones. Three temperature zones or heat zones. So here they are asking you the describe torrid zone. Now we have to describe about the torrid zone. I just read once the answer. The torrid zone is the outer zone on the Earth's surface. It receives direct sunlight throughout the year. It extends from the Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. The climate in this region is very hot, wet and humid. This climate is known as tropical climate. So, you all know that the torrid zone is located. So, this is the equator. So, in the north, from the equator to Tropic of Cancer in north is called as North Torrid Zone, and whereas from the equator to the Tropic of Capricorn is South Torrid Zone. So, the area which extends from the equator to the north of Tropic of Cancer is North Torrid Zone, and whereas from equator to the south, that is the Tropic of Capricorn, is called as South Torrid Zone. So, here the Torrid Zone is the hottest zone. Why it is hottest zone? Why Torrid Zone is the hottest zone? Because it receives the direct sunlight. It just receives the direct sunlight towards this zone. Hence, it is called as hottest zone on Earth's surface, and it receives the direct sunlight throughout the year. Throughout the year means all the 12 months, the sun rays will be direct on these two zones. And here the climate in this region will be very hot, wet and humid. Because of too much of sun rays, what happens? The land gets heated up, and here the humidity is produced. The water vapor is collected, and it just going to form clouds, and again the heavy rainfalls are occurred in this region. So hence it is wet. And even this climate is also known as what? It is also called as, this climate is also known as tropical climate. Understood, children? So when I give you the torrid zone means you have to write the torrid zone is the hottest zone on the Earth's surface. It receives direct sunlight throughout the year. It extends from the Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. The climate in this region is very hot, wet and humid. This climate is known as tropical climate. So I think you understood this answer. Next one. What are three major temperature zones on Earth? So I taught you the three major zones on Earth. What are the three major zones, children? The three major zones are temperature. What are they? The first one is torrid zone. T-O-R-R-I-D, torrid, Z-O-N-E zone. The second one is T-E-M-P-E-R-A-T-E, temperate, Z-O-N-E zone. The last zone is F-R-I-G-I-D, Z-O-N-E zone. So these are the three temperature zones on Earth. They are torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. Why does temperature zone experience moderate climate? Why does the temperate zone experience moderate climate? I just read that once. You just listen, children. The temperate zone experience moderate climate because it receives slanting rays of sunlight, which is neither very cold nor very hot. So, question, what I asked you, why the temperate zone? Why the temperate zone is called as moderate climate? Why it has moderate climate? Why it has a moderate climate, children? Because temperate zones. So, what happens? You can just see the slanting rays of sunrise towards the temperate zones. So, I told you that in torrid zone, it has a direct sunlight. It has a direct sun rays or sunlight. But whereas in temperate zones, you can just see the slanting of sunrise, which can be neither too hot nor too cold. That is why, because of slanting rays of the sun, it can be neither too hot nor too cold. Hence, temperature zone is known as moderate climate. Okay, children. The fifth one. What is the extent of the frigid zone? The frigid zone extends from the Arctic Circle to the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and from Arctic Circle to the South Pole in the southern hemisphere. The frigid zone is coldest zone on Earth. So, now let us learn the extent of frigid zone. So, this is the North Pole and the South Pole. And this is torrid zone. Again, it is torrid, temperate, in the same way, we learn this is temperate and this frigid zone. So, what happens here, children? You all know that in the torrid zone, in the north, there is Tropic of Cancer, whereas in south, it has Tropic of Capricorn. In the same way, in north temperate zone, there is Antarctic Circle, whereas in south, it has a Arctic Circle. So, here it has Arctic, and whereas here it has Antarctic. So, what they have asked you? They have asked you the extent of frigid zone. So, the answer for this, here, the thing which extends, the zone which extends from So, the zone extends from Arctic Circle to North. Arctic Circle, the extension which extends from Arctic to North Pole is called as North Frigid Zone. And in South, whereas the zone which extends from Antarctic Circle to South Pole is called as South Frigid zone, that is in the southern hemisphere. So here the frigid zone is the coldest zone. Why it is coldest zone? Because it is covered with ice and snow all throughout the year. Hence here frigid zone is coldest zone on the earth. Okay children? The fifth one, the fifth lesson we are going to start. So, the fifth lesson. The fifth lesson. The equatorial forest ridge. Answer the following questions. What is shifting agriculture? What is shifting agriculture? The answer I read out once. Shifting agriculture is a type of agriculture in which farmers clears a piece of forest land by cutting and burning the uprooted trees for growing crops. The crops are grown for 2 to 3 years, and when the fertility of the soil decreases, the farmer shifts to a new land and repeat the same process. So here, what do you mean by shifting agriculture? Shifting agriculture is nothing but what do you mean by shifting agriculture? So here, shifting agriculture is a type of agriculture where a farmer cuts a tree. He just cuts a tree and he just burns. Cutting and burning off the uprooted trees. Why is cutting and burning the uprooted trees? Because he's just making a piece of land to grow his crops. So I'll just tell you why. See, in the piece of land, there are some of the trees. What the farmer is doing? He's just cutting. He's just cutting and he's just burning off the roots which are grown. He's just burning. He's just burning and he's just making a piece of land to grow his crops, to maintain his livelihood, So all he is maintaining is just making it for his living. So what happens? He just burns the plants, he just cut the trees and burn the uprooted trees. And he's just making a piece of land to grow crops. The crops can be grown here for how many years? It can be grown from 2 to 3 years. After 2 to 3 years, what happens? The fertility of soil becomes less. After 2 to 3 years, the fertile of the soil becomes less, and again he can't grow the crops over here. So what he will be doing? He'll be just shifting to a new place to grow crops. That process is called as shifting agriculture. For the children. Next one, where is the equatorial forest region located? The equatorial forest region is found on both sides of the equator and falls in the torrid zone where it is very hot and wet. So I told you that the equatorial forest is located in the equator between the two zones. So here the equatorial forests are found. Here the equatorial forest is found on, where it is found on 2 sides of equator, whereas it falls in the torrid zone. So this equatorial forest can be found in two sides of the equator where it is found at torrid zone. And here in torrid zone, the climate is very hot and wet. So in torrid zone, the climate is very hot and wet. So I'll just read once. Where is the equatorial forest region located? The equatorial forest region is found on both sides of the equator and falls in the torrid zone where it is very hot and wet. What kind of animals are found in the equatorial region? Many animals like monkey, snakes, chimpanzees, flying squirrels, macaques, parrots, lemur, anacondas, etc. are found in the equatorial forest regions. So they have asked you what are the animals found in equatorial forest. So I've just given you some of the names of the animals which live in equatorial forest regions. Example like monkeys, snakes, lemurs, macaques, parrots, chimpanzees, flying squirrels, anacondas. So here the anacondas are the largest snake which can be found in Amazon forest. Next one. Which are the different tribes in the equatorial forest regions of the world? So in different regions of the world, there are some of the tribes living in the world. So I just read out once. The different tribes in the equatorial forest region are Pygmies and Bantus of the Congo region, Semings of Malaysia, Yanomami of Brazil, the Amazon Indians, Kupus of Sumatra, and Dayaks of Borneo. So there are some of the tribe peoples, different tribes. What are the different tribes called? So the first one will be the Pygmies and Bantus of Congo region. So where is Congo present? Congo is present in African continent. PYGMIES, Pygmies, and BANTUS, Bantus of CONGO, Congo region. So this is the first type of tribe which they are living in Congo. Second one is SCMANGS, Semangs of MALAYSIA, Malaysia. So these are the type of people who are living in Malaysia. The tribe people are called as Semangs. The third one is YANOMAMI, Yanomami of Brazil. So in Brazil, the tribes are called as Yanomami. The fourth one is the Amazon Indians. The Indians who are living in Amazon are called as Amazon Indians. Fifth one is KUBUS, Kubus of SUMATRA, Sumatra. So the last one is DAYAKS, Dayaks of Borneo. So I just repeat once, children. Please listen carefully what I am telling you. I am spelling out. PYGMIES, Pygmies, AND and BANTUS, Bantus of CONGO, Congo region. Second one, SEMANGS, Semangs of MALAYSIA, Malaysia. Third one, YANOMAMI, Yanomami, of BRAZIL, Brazil. Fourth one, the AMAZON, Amazon, Indians. Fifth one, KUBUS, Kubus, of SUMATRA, Sumatra. The last one is DA. The last one, DYAKS, Dayaks, of BORNEO, Borneo. So these are some of the tribe peoples who are living around the world. And the last question is, name some of the trees found in equatorial forest. So in equatorial forest, which are the different trees which we can find here? The different trees which can be found here are RUBBER, rubber. Next, CINCHONA, cinchona. MAHOGY, mahogany. ROSEWOOD, rosewood. And the last one is EBONY, ebony. So I just repeat once. RUBBER, rubber. CINCHONA, cinchona. MAHOGANY, mahogany. ROSEWOOD, rosewood. EBONY, ebony. So these are the important trees which are found in equatorial forest. So today for the class we completed our revision, children. So I think you all will be doing good. Whereas in everyone all have did good. Some of the children scored less marks. It's okay. But most of them have been scored very well. So I think that you all will be doing the exams also well. So all the best, children. All should do the exams well. So thank you, children, for the day. For today we are just leaving the class, and all the best for all students for the exams. Do well, children. Thank you.